Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. Good morning, Sue. How are you? So nice to see you. So nice to see you. I hope you are ready to take the next step in your art journal on this multi-step art journal entry. I think that it's nice to have something that you do in steps every once in a while. Carola, is that how you pronounce your name? Good morning. I am so good. I'm good, but I have a couple little challenges that I need to talk to you guys about. But if you're brand new here, if you would like, follow, and subscribe to Anne Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott and Stitch the States with Anne Corbiere-Scott. That's where all the cool kids hang. No, I'm kidding. That's where so much artsy, that's where you can share your artsy things. That's where you're going to get the best encouragement and love and creative inspiration. We have our own very specific artsy community, and it's the best. It's the best, if I do say so myself. Don't you agree, Carmen? Good morning, Laura. How are you? Hi, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here. So, I am ready for Halloween. How about everybody else? I'm ready. I have my big bin of chocolate that, sadly, I've dipped into a few times over the last couple days. Good morning, Maureen. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody has their art journals and their paints. That's what we're going to play with today. So I need to tell you that on Sunday, we got a phone call from my mother-in-law who lives in California, from her neighbor. And she had taken my mother-in-law to the emergency room. The mother-in-law that turns 90, that we were taking to England. And so, anyway, she fell in her kitchen and she fractured her hip. And so, number one, the trip is off. And number two, we just don't know what is coming down the pike for us. So I'm going to continue with that that time off, because I just don't know like where we stand and what. Jeff is in California with his mom, obviously. He went over that day. They did surgery, and anyway, I just wanted to, if I seem a little discombobulated, more than normal. I mean, I feel like sometimes discombobulated is just a state of mind for me. But that is why, and if you would keep her in your thoughts and prayers, I would greatly appreciate that. So, the way that I work through stress and kind of lose myself in art, you know, I find, and it's ironic that our project is for these last three. Well, this is the third Thursday. Well, it's a Monday, but you know what I mean. The art journaling day for Pop and Paint Party, that we're doing neurographic art. I didn't tell you that. I don't know. Oh my goodness, Maureen! Yikety yikes! Holy smokes. Well, I'm glad you joined us, though. And remember, all of these videos are are kept in the video section of my Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook page. And so we're here for you whenever you're able, you know? But it's nice that you're here. It makes me so happy that you came here. I just knew that I could tell you guys what's going on, and because I feel like we're just this big group of artsy friends, and you know, this is life, right? Life is that Maureen had cataract surgery, and that Vicky's just getting over cataract surgery, and it's just, you know, it's life. We wish we didn't have all of these challenges, but I think we wouldn't appreciate all the sweetness if we didn't have the challenges. What is that phrase? Without rain, there's no flowers, you know? Anyway, so let's get cracking in our art journal. So I have been hard at work on my entry here. And just, you know, I just find it so cathartic to work on this. Good morning, Joni. How are you this morning? I just find it so cathartic to just fill these little spaces with shapes and to imagine my next steps, and just really, when it's something that's so kind of detail-y like this, I find that when you're concentrating on a little section, right, then that lets your mind just wander. And sometimes we need our mind to wander. But it also lets your mind concentrate on the act of filling this space with a shape. Filling this shape with a space. And sometimes, for me, that's really, like I said, it's very cathartic. So I did want to take a moment to talk to you about neurographic art, which is what we did. We did a different version of it with the dime and everything, which, can I just tell you, I'm going to be doing that like over and over again. But, and I've done some in my art journaling classes, my paid art journaling classes. But I did want to touch upon, so this, I told you that I did kind of a version of this in kindergarten. It was like a scribble, and we filled in colors, we filled in each shape with a different color, or or a different pattern, or whatever. And I've done versions of this same art form for years. Like, it's just something that somehow I just keep going back to. And I can do it on a scrap of paper. I can do it in an art journal. I can do it in a fine art journal. I can do it in this composition art journal. I can do it, right, any old place. But in 2014, there's a Russian psychologist who created this Neurographica. And it's a psychological method that is like a version of art therapy, which is kind of what we're doing. His name is Pavel Piskarev, Piscarev. And so his thought process is, if there's something that's super on your mind, you take a piece of paper and you write it on the back side of your paper, and then you create this art on this side of the paper. And you're very mindful of working through it doesn't have to be like a negative challenge, just something that's heavy on your mind. Anyway, ours is much more lighthearted, but it's still mindful, right? And the more I think about it, I feel like that's how all art is to me. All art is mindfulness in one way or another. So I'm putting a piece of deli paper behind my page because it's gonna get wet. So how I'm going to put color on my page is I want to cover my entire page with a watery wash of orange in honor of Halloween. And then I'm going to come in and do shades of orange in all of these bits and pieces. I am kind of crooked or something today. Let me know how that is working for you guys. Let's see. Anywho, so that's what I'm going to do. You color yours however you wish. Like whatever just feels good to you. So I got my big palette out this morning. Because it has lots of oranges in it. And I have sprayed them this morning. All of these oranges. There we go. I'll give them another spray. And I'm going to just start with my watery wash of orange. I saw so when I do a wash, I like to use, I have this, do you see how floppy this is? That's good for a wash. It's good for a wash and it'll cover lots of territory. This is a big one. It is a 1/2 inch Zen by Royal Langnickel. And do you see how it does not have a lot of, well, it has some snap, but not too much. All right. So I'm just going to get that. But do you see the end is kind of like a mop? So it holds lots of water. It'll hold lots of color. So I'm going to start with this, it's kind of a yellowy orange. And I'm just going to do my big watery wash. But remember, I said, you do yours. You do what works for you. I have this idea in my head of how I wanted mine to be. But, you know, yours is yours, you know? I don't ever want somebody to feel like they have to create exactly what I created. But do you see how this brush is, it's just magic, right? She, Tam, she fell and got a hairline fracture in her hip. So our trip is off, and we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do. Jeff's over there right now. We don't know exactly what the plan is for her and her healing. So I'm going to continue with my time off because I just don't know like what's going to be asked of me. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to anybody? I'm going to start, I think I'm going to add a little bit of this orange around the edges. So, anyhow, that's the story that I've got. But I'll be giving away candy tonight to the trick-or-treaters. I can hardly wait. We love Halloween. We love Halloween. And we have a very Halloweeny neighborhood, so super excited about that. Okay, now I'm going to dry that so I can move on to my other colors. Yeah, the same, Tam, the same. We are hoping that everything happens quickly, but in the way that she needs it to. This will come as no surprise, but I usually dress up as a version of Frida Kahlo. So I maybe I do have a beautiful floral headband that I will probably don. Oh, Tammy, that's funny. I love Halloween. I love giving away candy. I love seeing all the costumes and the kids and their families and their moms and dads telling them to not walk on the lawn. And me saying, it's all right. It's all right. Grass is meant to be stepped on, I think. But I get it. You know, that's nice parents being polite. And say thank you. Say thank you. That always makes me giggle. Anywho, that's my story. How about you? What's going on in your corner of the world? Tammy just got back from a artsy weekend. I know. I feel bad that it somehow turned into something that it never really was. It's just about dressing up and candy acquisition. And what's wrong with either one of those, for crying out loud? We love all of it. Well, I can't wait to see it, Tam. I cannot wait to see it. My neighbor, so a long time ago, when we first moved into this house, like probably, I think it was like 17, 18 years ago. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, the lady on the corner dressed up like a gypsy, and she had a crystal ball. Oh my gosh, the kids loved that. There was someone around the corner who had, you know, those popcorn machines that, like a movie theater, but it's the other kind that's like a little stand. They had that, and so the kids got to get a bag of popcorn from there. There's this lady on the opposite corner who wears these big rubber feet every single year. It's so funny. Anyway, and my next door neighbor, when we first moved in here, she, on Halloween night, when her kids were still home, she would show Halloween movies on her garage door. And it started out with like Charlie Brown, and then it just got progressively scarier as the night went on. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. My neighbor across the street always makes chili and pumpkin cookies. It's just the most festive, you know, and I was thinking about it this morning. Halloween is, I think it is one of the most creative holidays. Do you not agree? There is pumpkin carving, creative, costume creating, creative, and what fuels a creative? Candy. I just think it's the best. I think it's the best. So now I'm going to start. I got my number 1 and my number 4, and I'm going to start creating some, and it doesn't have to be all, I'm still a little bit wet right here. It doesn't have to be all paint, right? You can use whatever mediums you want. I just like, I just like the idea of like orange, 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 and black, right, representing Halloween, but in this like really artsy way. I love that. I love that. Let's see. Oh, Tam, how fun is that? Don't you have so many awesome Halloween memories? I do. I do. I do. We moved when I was going into third grade. And so every year we would make our parents drive us to the old neighborhood so we could trick or treat there so we could see everybody. And then we could trick or treat in the neighborhood we lived in now. Oh, it was so fun. And like getting our pumpkin every year, and that was like such a huge thing. Like, did I want to get a tall skinny one? Did I get a round one? Do you know what I mean? Did I want to get something that was a little bit different color orange? Did I want to get traditional orange? Oh, it was all the things. It was all the things every year. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, can I tell you, Maureen, I remember, don't if you grew up in the Midwest, your costume either had to have a coat over it or a coat under it. It wasn't a pretty, pretty princess, I'm just going to say, with a great big winter coat underneath. That's for sure. But we made the most of it. And I remember, like, because I lived in the country, we would we had to drive to each neighbor's house, and I remember then we would get in the car, and then you got to look in your bag because it wasn't polite to look in the bag right there at the front steps of that person's house, but you'd look in the bag to see what you got, and then try and figure out a way to eat it without your parents knowing. And one time I got a bad Clark bar. I'll never forget it. Oh, the Canadian prairies. How beautiful. That's so funny. You know what's so funny, Laura? I was talking to Carmen yesterday, and I said, I love Halloween. And she said, so does Laura. I love Halloween. I love it. It's just the most fun holiday, don't you think? I just think it's fun. It's all about just having fun. It's just weird that I have to do it by myself this year because Jeff's in California. But he already bought some candy to give away at his mom's house. Sometimes we order those pumpkin. Is it Little Caesars that does like a jack-o'-lantern pizza? I don't know. One of the pizza places does a jack-o'-lantern pizza. Oh, hey, I was going to tell you, this weekend, I never watch 60 Minutes because it's usually during football. But Sunday, because I was here by myself, I did turn on 60 Minutes. And there was and I usually don't, 60 Minutes isn't full of feel-good stories like CBS Sunday Morning. But I did watch this story, an interview on David Sedaris, the essayist author. Anyway, I'm telling you, if you get the chance, I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube. It was just a fascinating interview. It's always interesting to me, like, how people, what makes people the way they are. Do you know what I mean? Like what happened in their lives to make them where they are. Anyway, and he's a fellow creative too, right? So that was kind of interesting to me. He talked about imposter syndrome. I mean, they didn't call it that, but I recognized it immediately. And that he's plagued with it too. It's just a crazy. It's a crazy thing. Anyway, but he also talked about so many interesting things. He had a dad who was really not a nice guy and really kind of had it out for David, and it's just ugh. It's just kind of rotten. He talked about his sister Amy, who I love. She's just hysterical. You guys, this is looking exactly how I wanted it to look. I want all the oranges, all the time. I get, you know what? I've read some of his essays. I've never read any of his books, but I went on Audible and bought a few after watching that video or that interview. He sells books, but he also performs his essays, which how cool would that be to see him perform his? I think it would be like watching the narrator on steroids. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, he has a home in England, so that made me a little sad. It made me think about my trip, but and we told Eileen, you know what? This just means it's postponed. It's just postponed. We'll go another time, as soon as you're well. Hey, Deb, how are you? So I'm just kind of deepening these. I really want shades of orange. That's what I'm just kind of going for today. With this black, I thought, what a tribute to Halloween. So just know that this, we will be doing more neurographic art in the future. That's for sure. Because I just find it so cathartic. And you learn a lot, as you go along. Okay. Now let's get some other oranges in here. Oh, who's somebody? Are you still there, Deb? Are you still in Hawaii or Maui? Good morning, Karen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody take a drink. Take some of this orange. Micron. You just want a waterproof pen, Tam. Because you're going to be putting lots of watery stuff on top. A study in orange. Good morning, Aunt Dee. I know, that's just it, Sue. You can just do it how work on it as you're able. Aunt Dee, you tuned in a little late, but did you hear me talk about Eileen? I don't know if you heard me. So, we're getting ready to go on our trip to England for her 90th birthday and her sister Sylvia's 93rd birthday. So Sunday, Eileen's neighbor called Jeff and said that they were in the emergency room, that she had fallen in the kitchen. So they did some x-rays and she has fractured her hip. And it's a hairline fracture, but it's a fracture nonetheless. They did surgery on yesterday morning. And she's doing well. But we don't know exactly what kind of... I need to turn this. What kind of rehab she's going to need just yet, so obviously trip is off and she is devastated, as you can imagine, but we just told her it's just postponed. We'll still go, it'll just be at a different time, that she just needs to concentrate on getting better. Anyway, so keep her in your prayers. Sally. Anyway. These oranges. Stop it. So pretty. Thanks, Aunt Dee. I know, that's so funny. I was, my mom and dad always say, because we come from two giant families, there's never not somebody to pray for. That's for sure. There's always somebody. I think that would be pretty. Hi, Nanette. How are you? I'll do this one. Yeah, we're sad too, Deb. But, you know, we want her to get better more than anything. And we can always go. We can always go again. This is so, I'm just going to tell you, it's so mesmerizing. I'm just going to keep losing myself in orange. I do have so I dated my painting already, 10/31/2022. And I do have my artsy quote ready. Okay, I'm going to turn it again. What do I do here? Oh, my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, we were supposed to leave on Friday for a trip to England for her to see her sister and to celebrate both of their birthdays. And my mother-in-law fell in the kitchen and fractured her hip. And she had surgery on yesterday. Can I tell you, my days and nights and days of the week are all mixed up. Because I had to stay up late until Jeff got there because I knew he was upset, and so I knew I wouldn't sleep until he got there, and he left about 6. I mean, they called at 5, and he was in the car on the way at 6 o'clock. And then I had to get up early the next morning to call all the family in England. So my sleep is all mixed up. They are kind of spendy, Deb. But you know, here's the thing. I have those amazing paints, but I also have Crayolas. Do you know what I mean? I use everything. Let's see. Did I get all of those? I think so. Let's find a dark orange and see. Let's see. In the Josie, her orange is super dark. Kind of autumnal. So, you know what? I think I'm going to use that. Remember, get some water on there and then work that water into that color. That's how you're going to get your best pigment. Just work that color into that water into your pan of paint. These are really pretty too, Deb. These are by an artist named Josie Lewis. I use these all the time too, as you can see. I am super tired, but I will just tell you that this is one of the best parts of my day, you know? And thank you guys for being here and just, being my friends. That's what artsy friends do, right? We just share and support each other. No, I'm never here on Monday, but because we were going to drive to California on Wednesday, I thought we'll do pop and paint party on Monday and Tuesday. And like I said, I don't know what the next little bit of time is going to bring, so I thought I'm just going to stick with the schedule that I kind of made for myself, that I'll be off. But if I get the chance to pop in, I will post it on social media, and then we'll meet and paint. Oh, you guys, I'm loving it so much. Like, all this orange is just giving me all the feels. So anyway, watch that David Sedaris interview, and then let's talk. Because now I want to listen to one of his books. I want to, so he was talking about, he talked a lot about, that everybody's offended these days, and, like, he just doesn't have time for it. And I thought, oh my gosh, me either, David. He's written over a dozen books, and he finds a story in everything. I loved that. I loved that, loved that, loved that. His dad, I told you, his dad was really kind of rotten. He used to say to David, like, all the time, you know what you are? You're a big fat zero, and everything you touch turns to crap. Ugh. Can you imagine saying that to your child? But then you wonder, like, what happened in his life that he felt that he lashed out at his own child like that. Do you know what I mean? You do wonder, like, what was going on with him deep inside. All of this orange, I am telling you. I know, Sue, but you know what I mean? Like, hurt people. And so you think, what was it? What happened to him? What was said to him that made that come out of him, you know? And it was just, oh my gosh. And he started out, it's so interesting. He, David kind of fumbled around a lot, as a lot of us do. Ooh, I need to take a drink. You guys, look at that sea of orange. Orange, orange, orange. It's making me so happy. Let's see. Oh, what if we go back in with that orangey yellow that I had and do some filling in with that. And I need to do way more. Look at this whole area of circles. I have not done any orange, so I need to do that. I need to work on that. Oh. It's making me so happy. And I'm happy to just be spending the morning with you guys. You get me. You know what I mean? Oops. That was kind of close. Oh well. I think when everything is when everything else is going on, I don't think that's even gonna show. I am. I already typed it up, Deb. Look it. There it is. Inspiration exists, but you have to find it working. Stop it! It has to find you working by Pablo Picasso. I love my vintage typewriter. I use it every day. I type something on it every day. It makes me so happy. One year, Jeff asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, typewriter ribbons for my old typewriter. That's all I wanted. Don't you love when something that you've been kind of pondering kind of looks how you envisioned it in your noggin, you know? It is a Smith Corona. Just a sec. I'm so proud of it. You can Google it. Smith Corona Super Sterling. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. It's making me so... Oh, it's manual. It makes me so happy. I just love that clackety clack. Good morning, Annette. Oh, yes, and I did take typing class in high school, and can I just tell you, I was the absolute worst. I was the worst typing student. I remember one time, do you remember those exercises? Those typing exercises where you had to like make an image, you know? You had to follow that was back when you could only look at what your reference. You couldn't look at your hands, right? And we were supposed to it was supposed to look like a rabbit in the end. And mine looked like it was shooting something out of its eye. It was, oh my gosh, it was such a tragic failure. Everybody take a drink. Now I'm a much more, Nanette, that's so cool. I'm a much more, I'm a much better typist now than I ever was in my youth. Good morning, Keels. Are you on the road? I just bought this cover for my keypad on my computer. Look at it. Look at it. So it's just this silicone piece and it just fits over the keypad. Isn't that cool? I like this. This was like $6. But I saw a keypad that you could buy that sounds like a clickety-clackety electric typewriter. Oh my gosh, Debbie, just soak up as much beach as you can. Oh, that's right. Today is pickleball. You do, Melody. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. It just makes me happy. Simple things make me happy. I bet you're the same. Now I have to let something dry before I paint some more. I do have these. I painted in a lighter orange than these, so I need to come into these areas. Oh, excuse me. I need to paint lighter orange in those areas, and then I need to do the darker in here, but I need to let stuff dry before I come in with. Yes, when I saw it, I had to have it, but then I had the dilemma of which color to choose, because those silicone keyboard covers come in a range, like you can get shades of blue, shades of pink, shades of orange. You can get blues and greens, and so I ended up choosing the rainbow because then I got all the colors. It's a little like you do need to kind of get used to that feel, that rubbery feel under your fingertips when you're typing, but that's nothing really. That is nothing really. How am I doing on time? Oh, golly. How's an hour almost up already? It went so fast. I didn't get to talk to you about David Sedaris's compulsions. Like he had compulsions as a child and obsessions, and now his compulsion is he has a home in England, and one of his compulsions is to pick up trash along the side of the road. I love that. So he does it he writes in the morning and he picks up trash in the afternoon. And he said, and at night he puts one of those headlights on his head, like a literal headlight on his head, and goes and picks up trash on busier roads that aren't as busy at night. How cool is that? His first book is called Santa Diaries, which I thought was fitting since tis the season. And it all started from a journal entry in 1992. And that started from he had a job as a department store elf. And that, I think, was the catalyst. His process is just so fascinating to watch. It is, he, at his book signings or after his presentation of his essays, he does book signings afterward, and people tell him stories, and they're fascinating. And so he always has a little notebook filled with jottings, and I thought, oh my gosh, what a fascinating guy. Okay, comfort book. I almost forgot. The most important kind of wealth. In 1981, American philosophy graduate Stephen Callahan found himself adrift in the Atlantic for 76 days. He had been sailing a sloop he had designed and built, the Napoleon, Solo. He was 7 days into a voyage from Cornwall to Antigua. One night during a storm, the boat was hit by a whale. The boat quickly flooded and started to sink. Callahan escaped into an inflatable raft, life raft, but also managed to hold his breath and dive down into his boat a few times to get a hold of essential supplies. These supplies included a small amount of food, navigation charts, flares, a spear gun, and a sleeping bag. He was then set entirely adrift from the boat. He was 800 miles from the Canary Islands, but heading in this opposite direction. He had enough food and water to last him only a few days. He fished with the spear gun and made water with a solar still, a contraption that evaporates salt water and distills it, then purifies it. It took him days to get it working properly. There were many moments of dashed hope. For instance, on the 14th day, he saw a ship and lit a flare, and thought he had been seen, but no such luck. He saw other ships, but again, no one saw him, and soon he was south of the shipping lanes, heading into hotter and hotter weather. The discomfort was immense, the hunger, the thirst, the heat, the saltwater sores on his skin. Mentally, according to his own accounts, it was also tough. Not just the continual threat of sharks, but his own thoughts. I had a lot of time to think, and I regretted every mistake I'd ever made, he told The Guardian newspaper in 2012. I was divorced, and I felt I had failed at human relations generally, at business, and now even at sailing. I desperately wanted to get through it so I could make a better job of my life. 50 days in, and things were looking hopeless. He had spent over a week trying to keep the damaged raft afloat with a pump, and he had no more energy. He broke down, but he pulled himself together just enough to find a way to temporarily fix the raft. Then his contraption to purify his water broke. He knew logically he was going to die, as he had only had 3 cans of water left. He felt his mind, as well as his body, shutting down. He had lost a third of his weight. He had nothing else to give. His use of flares and beacons had triggered no rescue attempt. I could feel all the people who had ever been lost at sea around me. At some point, he threw discarded fish guts back into the sea, which caused seabirds to hover above him. The seabirds drew the attention of some fishermen from the Guadalupe archipelago. They found Callahan on his 76th day on the raft and took him ashore, where he would eventually recover in the hospital. Although the ordeal was terrifying and nearly cost him his life, Callahan didn't regret having gone through it, and it never put him off sailing. In his book Adrift, 76 Days Lost at Sea, he writes of how he no longer regrets his life and how he has learned to be grateful. My plight has given me a strange kind of wealth, the most important kind. I value each moment that is not spent in pain, desperation, hunger, thirst, or loneliness. Even more remarkable is his memory of beautiful moments within his ordeal. The sight of a clear, starry night sky overwhelmed him with awe, a view of heaven from a seat in hell. You guys, was that a good one or what? It was so good. It was so good. Well, we are at our tail end. I still need little bits of this to dry, but I will continue on my Orange Fest today. Oh, Melody. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Thank you for telling me that. Oh my goodness. I love that. Yeah, my Gram always had a typewriter at her house. And can I tell you, that was the toy that everyone fought over. And it wasn't a toy. And my mom and dad have it in their basement, so, and it's mine. It's mine. I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait. I have a really old one that I don't know that I'll ever be able to find ribbon for, but I just love it in my house. And I display things. Right now, there's a Halloween cat piece of, like a vintage Halloween cat paper. It's made out of paper. It's a decoration, and it's stuck in the in between the keys. It's so pretty. I just love it. It makes me happy. Well, thank you all for joining me. I hope you fill your neurographic art with some kind of color today. And then be sure to share it in our Let's Get Arts with Anne Corbiere-Scott Facebook group. That's where I love where we share, like, that we all started in the same place, but that we all come to our own conclusion, our own artsy conclusion. I love that. Don't forget, tomorrow is another pop-in paint party. I will be introducing the brand new art printable for November, and it is so pretty. I can't wait to share. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so, so much. I agree. I agree. I adore you all. Thank you so much for taking time to hang with me. And, you know, go out and make it a marvelous Monday. I adore you all. Thanks so much. Bye.